Subscribe and click the bell icon for the latest updates and notifications from the Indian Express.
When we talk about Northeast, we know that after the major achievement the BJP has made in the assembly elections, that citizenship amendment bill and protest over the bill have kind of changed the scene for the BJP. But in the last 1 week, the party has come up with key alliances in almost all the northeastern states. How did you manage that?
No, actually, citizenship amendment bill, when we tried to get it passed, of course, it has section of people who are supporting the bill and section of the people who had some reservation about the bill. But at that point of time also, I was clear, I was always on this point that irrespective of the outcome of citizenship amendment bill, these will not affect BJP's portion, because no election is fought on single issue. Because in citizenship bill, our opinion may be divided. But when it comes to Northeast and the development that has taken place in last 5 years under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, so people know, there was no for and against. Everybody feels that yes, we have been given a fair deal for the first time in the history of independence India. We have traveled across Northeast once again. And we have laid the point again that look, this bill can be passed. Certain safeguard can be thought of for the hill state of northeastern region, where tribal culture is very strong and where actually there is no anarchy and there is no threat to the Bengali Hindu. So we can incorporate certain things which in turn can assure people that this bill will not affect their culture, their rights and privileges. So we have started the process again. People has realized that BJP's intention is all along good. It is to protect Northeast, not to damage the culture or identity of Northeast in any way.
So you were saying that obviously CAB was an emotional issue, and in rest of India, the BJP expects an emotional issue, like which is the national security issue. To an extent, it is an emotional issue, and it is going to play in favor of the party. But what makes you think that in Northeast will be different?
First of all, people of Northeast also will vote the same way the way rest of India will vote. I think voting pattern will not change so much between Northeast and rest of the country. But once it is about Northeast, it is all about development. Because during last 5 years, every northeastern state has been connected with Rajdhani Express. Meter gauge has been converted to broad gauge. Single track railway line are being converted to dual track line. Big bridges over river Brahmaputra have come up. Basically now all the northeastern states are being connected with airways. Because of your diplomatic relationship, Bangladesh is opening both their port to the people of Northeast for trade and commerce. So it is a dramatic turnaround of the fortune of Northeastern region in last 5 years. So our belief that people of Northeast will vote wholesale in favor of BJP and NDA.
So you think that this issue, this airstrike and the national security issue the BJP is trying to flag is going to overshadow all other issues which were the opposition have successfully have been projecting and highlighting the issue. Do you think that this will overtake everything?
I don't believe that only because of national security issue people will, like you are quoting some MP, people will vote only for that. But if you can see series of initiative of last 6 months, Ayushman Bharat has now stabilized. Then the quota for economically weaker section, 10% quota. Then Krishak Shamman Nidhi initiated by Prime Minister. So the series of initiative taken by Prime Minister and by the BJP government in last 6 months actually created a very good situation in favor of BJP and Prime Minister. So when it comes to the national security, yes, people are now of the view that Prime Minister is only not talking, but he is actually serious about national security. But he is not only serious only about national security, he is serious about health, he is serious about economically weaker section of the people, he is serious about Dalit, he is serious about downtrodden. So he is the model of governance is now been accepted by the people, and landing of many schemes in last 6 months has fortified everything. So I think my belief is this is a whole package for which Prime Minister will get vote from the people of India.
With so much going for BJP, one wonders what is the compulsion that the party feels to return to polarizing rhetoric. You were recently quoted as saying that 17 seats in Assam will go to Bangladeshi Muslims.
But that's a fact. That's a statement. When we won Assam election, I come to Indian Express Idea Exchange immediately after the election, when there was no poll, there was no election around. I have given that statement, and I still believe in that Assam is in serious danger of losing identity. Assamese and Indian people are in serious danger of losing identity in Assam. So this is a statement which I am going to tell people of India irrespective of election, and this is a hard fact, and which Supreme Court of India also accepted that. When they invoke NRC in Assam, when they scrap IMDT, they have spoken more harshly than what I am speaking before you today. They said that it is external aggression. The amount of migrants, Muslim migrants who has entered into Assam post 1971, they have created a situation almost like of external aggression. This is the language of Honorable Supreme Court of India.
But wouldn't Assamese identity be diluted just as much if migrants other than Muslims come into the country, which is what the Citizenship Amendment Bill was attempting?
No, I think you have to realize that Assamese identity is part of Indian identity. It is, yes, we have our independent culture, we have independent line of many things, we think a bit differently, but overall we are part of India's culture, India's ethos. But the migrants which are coming, basically the Muslim migrants, they do not share that common identity. So when it comes to indigenous Muslim, we are fine with them. Rather, we are proactively working for the welfare of indigenous minorities in Assam who are economically in disadvantaged situation. We are working proactively for them. But when it comes to migrants, Muslim migrants from outside India, they are posing serious cultural threat to Assamese, to India as a whole. But when it comes to Hindu, Bodh, Sikhs, Jains, I think they are like you, they are like us. So they cannot create some additional cultural or political challenges to us.
The entire Assam agitation did not have the religious aspect at all. It's a very recently that this Muslim identity has been brought into the Assam, the entire migrant issue, because agitation was against the Bengali migrants, not Muslim migrants, which is through CAP. That's what is being done now.
I think these are debatable question. I mean, when we participated in Assam agitation, we were only citing data about Muslim migration. I mean, those were the general temper in Assam, that in Borpeta you are losing identity, Morigaon you are losing identity, in Nagaon you are losing identity. So from whom you are losing identity? So answer was very clear, but in India, people do not want to speak frankly because immediately word secular comes and they started haunting you. In last 10 years, after BJP comes to power or people has become, people started speaking a bit more frankly because in the Congress time you were always bogged down by the word secularism. Now you can actually interpret what secularism means. You can interpret secularism a bit away from the way secularism is interpreted by left secular people. So that liberty you have got. When you have got that liberty, people started speaking frankly that yes, our identity crisis is from the Bengali Muslims.
You remember Sila Patan in 1983?
Yes.
That was Bengali Hindu. Those, as far as I remember, was always against Bangladesh, irrespective of religion, and even the CAB protests now.
I mean, look, these are issues for a researcher to do, not for a politician. As a politician who has participated in Assam agitation, I have understand Assam agitation in that way. You might have understand Assam agitation in your own way. Assam agitation was supported by BJP. Assam agitation was supported by Bajpayee, and ABVP people worked for Assam agitation across the India. But Bajpayee and Advani both in Assam reiterate that people of Assam should have a different view in regard to refugee and in regard to the economic migration. So those stands were clear, but still people of Assam adore Bajpayee in spite of his position on the refugee. That means in underlying tone was, according to us, people like us, always against Bangladeshi Muslim.
I mean, BJP said it's committed to bringing in citizenship amendment bill, and AJP was protesting against that. Now again, AJP has come back into the fold. They are aligned with it. Though Prafulla Mahanto has said he will not campaign, he's still upset. Is BJP still committed to CAB, and how has it placated AGP to come back into the fold?
Last 2 months, we work with AGP. And we try to actually discuss citizenship amendment bill logically. And we have come into certain points that yes, if this kind of safeguard is incorporated in CAB, probably it will not affect the sentiment of the people. We have started discussing with, discussion with AGP that what can be the safeguard. We are starting discussion with the other northeastern state, other partners, that what can be the safeguards we can put in CAB. We have started discussion, now we have come into a conclusion that our parties will work together and we will prepare a more acceptable draft of CAB, we will present it to the government of India, and hopefully they will look into. And hopefully when we will see the CAB in next June or July, you will see that CAB will be more acceptable to the people of northeastern region.
A seasoned politician who has, been part of the movement in Assam. I am just wondering whether the party or you kind of think or realize that when you talk about Bangladeshi Muslims, what happens in India in the ground is that the general sentiment against Bangladeshi Muslims permeates into the ground and kind of gets generalized to mean all Muslims. Do you see that happening? Do you see that this also happens in society? Of course, you say that it is for researchers, but do you see that happening?
No, I think that's wrong. I mean, we should not have any grievances against Muslim who are part of India, who has equal rights as that of me when it comes to your own country. So I do not, and I have no legal right to ventilate or nurture any grievances against Indian Muslim, and I should not. And I come from a very secular mindset. Of course, secularism I understand in my own way, and I have full respect for the Muslim in general. But we are fighting on ethnic line. We are not fighting with religious line. Our difference with Bangladeshi Muslim more on ethnic line. It is not on religious line. So Assamese Muslim understand our sentiment. Now I'll just give you a small example. When this airstrike happened in Balakot, most of the Bangladeshi, there was almost 92 case we have registered where people have spoken that Pakistan Jindabad in their social media, Facebook and all. We arrested them and we found all had been or are a recent migrants from Bangladesh. So it is most of them are also posing them a kind of civilizational challenge to us. But Assamese Muslim are different. Muslim from UP is different. Muslim for Bihar are different. We cannot have any grievances against them. In spite, we may have a political difference, but that's fine. So if our fight against Bangladeshi Muslim gets into a situation where people started interpreting that this is a fight against Muslim in general, then that's wrong and that should not be, and probably I will take a forum like this to clarify our stand that we are not against Indian Muslims.
But last year I remember around the time the NRC was made public, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, he travelled to Dhaka and he told his Bangladeshi counterparts that there is no question of sending back any person from India. Bangladesh High Commission and the Deputy High Commission in the Northeast also spoke to you and shared their concerns on these issues. What did they share with you, and if you could throw that?
Rajnath Singh is basically is saying that nobody will push back to Bangladesh until and unless Bangladeshi government accept them as a citizen of Bangladesh, and probably that should be the case. But we are on a different take. I am not against large scale deportation. I am not for large scale deportation to Bangladesh because that will take 15, 20, 50 years of time. We want to create a list of people who has migrated from Bangladesh. Then we want to discuss rights, that what rights should be available to them and what rights should not be available to them. So when it comes to rights like health and education, I mean they should get it. I mean there is no doubt about that. But when it kind of rights to land, rights to vote, rights to participate in electoral process, so you have to divert them from that, so that they do not pose challenges to your political and cultural identity. Having said that, India is a country with long tradition of respecting human rights, and you cannot deal with anybody, he may be Hindu or Muslim, inhumanly. So, but at the same time, you cannot allow them to actually encroach upon a society, that I will take over that society, I will take over governance of that society. And see, until and unless Bangladesh accept them as their citizen, you should not push them inhumanly to the border. You cannot put them in one train and put them across the border. That India will never do.
But sir, that doesn't go with what Mr. Amit Shah said, that he called them termites. So the party president has not once, many a times have used the word.
No. I think if you have understand my party president view in that context, they are termites when it comes, or they are Ghuspethi when it comes to politics, when it comes to encroaching government land, when it comes that they will become Chief Minister of Assam. So this is a political speech, this is a political thing, that yes, we do not want them to see in politically encroaching rights of Assamese indigenous people. But when it comes to human rights, actually this government's record on human rights is better than many other governments. So my points and Amit Shah's point is not different. When it comes to political, cultural, land rights, I want to deal with them ruthlessly. But when it comes to rights like health and education, you have to deal with them humanly. So I think that line of distinction is acceptable, and that is what Rajnath Singh ji has said in Dhaka. That is what Prime Minister is speaking in most of the platform. And this is also view of our party, that health education is a different, but encroaching, you should not allow any outsiders or Ghuspethi to control the society, to control the politics of that state, or to spoil your culture. When it comes to that, you deal very, very firmly with them. But when it comes to the basic human rights, it will take time to deport them to Bangladesh. So, you have to give their children some kind of basic human rights. So that line of distinction you must understand.
In mid 20th century in Europe, there was a community which was targeted and they were labeled as cockroaches. We know about Jews, and there are parallels that are being drawn because of the use of this term, termites, which dehumanizes a community.
If you stay in Assam, if you go to Nagaon, Morigaon, Dhubri, Gwalpara, in those districts, probably in political lexicon, you will use more harsh words, because these are the reality. These are the reality of a society, that you are getting minority, you are extinguished, your monastery are being encroached, your satras is being encroached, your temple are being demolished every day, your temple land are being encroached, and madrasa is being set up. So I can give you many examples where Krishna or Ram Mandir has become now madrasa in many of the districts in Lower Assam. So these are the reality. So use of the words are actually dictated by the emotions of the people. When you discuss this, from the minority Hindu population of Nagaon, Morigaon, Dhubri, Gwalpara, the kind of torture they are facing in their day-to-day life, kind of inhuman treatment they are getting day-to-day life in Assam, I think these are more mild words. So BJP feels for those Hindu people.
Sir, as a party, you have a choice. You can either encourage and embolden those harsh words, or you can moderate them. You can. So why are you making this choice constantly? It seems to encourage the harshness.
We are finished. Our identity is finished. We are nowhere today in this district, and you are coming and lecture us to use moderate words. Will they believe me? Will they understand me? So I think reality is different. From here you can feel that okay, but reality in Assam is very dangerous, and Assamese people will lose everything in next 10 to 15 years if this is going on.
That this deportation or removal of people who will be found out as Bangladeshis in the NRC will take over a period of 10 to even maybe 50 years. So the reports basically say that they are all being kept under camps, detention camps. So this detention camps will continue for that long?
No, the detention idea is not ours. It is the High Courts of Guwahati, and High Courts of Guwahati is ordering them to be kept in detention camp. I as a political leader, I do not support that, because keeping them in a detention camp, what about the rights of their children on education and health? So I do not believe that 15 lakhs people should be put in a detention camp.
So will the Assam government...
Assam government will not come out with that kind of strategy, and that will be not our idea. And
it's already there.
That is there, but it is under a court order. Court has recently said that you create a more elaborate detention camp where hospital can be there, school can be there. Government of India has sanctioned fund for that. So court is trying to humanize the detention camp. But as a political leader, if you ask me, that I am of the view that their identity should be digitally recorded. They should be kept under a situation where they cannot claim Indian citizenship in some other state. Once that is established, they should be provided with basic human rights.
Now, to come back to something you said about the rights for the post-71, you are talking of cutting them off from political rights and land rights. But those things are already under discussion. People are talking about this under clause 6, which is supposed to be for people who came before 51.
That is a different consideration altogether. You must understand clause 6 in a different context. The cut-off should have been 1951 when Assam Accord was signed. But Rajiv Gandhi impressed upon the leaders of Assam agitation that make the cutoff 1971. So, Delhi, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu cutoff is 1951. For Assam, cutoff is 1971. So, we have taken burden of illegal immigrants between 1951 to 1971. So, Rajiv Gandhi given a counter to this, he want to create a second balance. He said that look, you are taking responsibility of foreigners of this time span. They are foreigners by the definition of citizenship bill, definition of constitution of India, they are foreigners. But we want to make them Indian in the context of Assam. So, around 30 lakhs people were there. So, they will pose serious cultural or political threat to the people of Assam. So, Rajiv Gandhi incorporated a clause 6 in Assam Accord saying that you reserve certain seat for Assamese in Assam Assembly. You reserve certain land rights for you. So, that is why that clause 6 has come into be part of Assam Accord. Now, we are trying to implement that. That is a protection against the people whom you have regularized between 1951 and 1971. And this clause is acceptable clause.
Be very regional when it comes to this issue of BPT. Using double standards when it comes to people living in Northeast vis-a-vis people living in the other parts of the country. Why is that so?
If you create a set of principle and try to implement it South India, North India, Northeast India, it will not happen. So, it is not a opportunism or it is not guided by political reality. It is the way to celebrate diversity of your country. In Northeastern region, I know if you say voluntarily give up, it will not happen. This is not possible. So, why you say something where it is not possible? So, I believe that at individual level choice can be changed, but in the society level, India become vegetarianism, that I will not accept.
So, how does this holy cow become unholy in Northeast and fine in Northeast and not in UP? And the second thing is that, it is not, you talked about, directive principles of the Constitution, taking somebody's life for eating beef or finding beef is, lynching a person. Your party promotes that. How would you come to terms with that?
I think you have all seen Prime Minister's statement, and when Prime Minister condemn all this kind of activity which you are referring, matter should be end there, because Prime Minister is our supreme leader. Whatever he has said on this issue, lynching and all, this is all we are aligned to that.